Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's good to see everyone here. Michael Malger, it's always good to see you here. Time for another chapter of My Hero Academia. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another My Hero Academia chapter reaction and review. Last we left out on, we had all these heroes coming together to aid Midoriya. Everyone from Shiketsu High, all the remaining heroes who were able to stand, everyone is joining in to work with Midoriya in order to bring down All for One. And despite everything that's happened to all these heroes, they still have the determination to bring the one last obstacle to world peace, or just, the future of the world down. So let's begin with the next chapter, as we get Aoyama. We get Aoyama yelling at who's getting tossed up in the air, because All for One in this current state has sent out countless tendrils all over the place, and it's ripping the entire area apart, causing people to, be split up, which is the exact opposite of what they're trying to do, because they're all trying to they're all trying to go after All for One altogether as a unit, because All for One likes to separate people. But while Aoyama is being tossed in the air, Midoriya is running as he goes, "Oh no, Aoyama!" And then Aoyama just goes, "Run, Midoriya!" And then we have Aizawa looking back, because we still don't have the title of this chapter yet. We have Aizawa looking back as he goes, "Shiraku!" And as he's looking back, we see the head of one called Kurogiri / Shirakumo. His once billowing head of smoke starts to subside, as if his whole head is disappearing, much to the shock of Aizawa. And then it cuts to Midoriya, who's running towards All for One, who's just ripping up the entire landscape with all of these different tendrils all over the place. All the heroes are working towards rushing towards All for One. And then we got, what is his name? Guns, not the cowboy dude. The cowboy who we haven't seen in a long time. He's opening fire on All for One, and All for One is just glaring at everyone, like his whole face is shadowed. Like, he's got the mouth over his face, but his eyes are, like, whited over. He's got, like, a very villainous visage on him right now. Then we got Kami, and all the students of Shiketsu going, "Nothing's hitting home, he's too tough." Oh, wait, this is the other guy that's in charge of their class. Well, the teacher that's in charge of Class B of UA going, "Nothing's hitting home, he's too tough." And then Kami goes, "Unlike All for One, this one's totes not falling for my rage bait illusions." And then we have Cementos going, "Carve a path." Oh wait, this is Aizawa relaying this to Cementos. "Carve a path, one straight to Shigaraki." And then we cuts to All for One as he's speaking, going, "My Omni Factor Unleash is not the result of giving in to base emotion. Rather, this augmentation is me exercising control and authority over my myriad powers. As such, do not presume you have me outnumbered." As All for One, this Joker knows about the real All for Ones, the now dead All for Ones. All out Omni Factor Unleash attack, which was what he was going to use in order to get to Shigaraki first. He knows of it, and instead of just turning himself into this gigantic amalgamation of quirks and people's faces of quirks he's stolen from, he condenses it all into basically a cannon. Basically, one cannon and then multiple spikes to be fired, and he just fires not only this blast, but he also sends out air slashes, and he also sends out these giant spikes out of his body after he basically the cannon of Junon in Final Fantasy. If you've been following my Rebirth series, you would have seen the cannon. He basically just turns all the quirks that he's using into one twisted cannon and sends out laser blasts, multiple spikes, and of course air slashes that starts to rip up the entire area. Now, the thing about the laser, it gets intercepted by Hagakure, who, remember, she is capable, after she trained her power, she was capable of, bending light. So she pretty much just grabs hold of the light itself and redirects it. With Midoriya going, Hagakure!
Laserish stuff? I'm your gal.
And then we have Momo and we have Kaminari as they've created a gigantic electromagnetic railgun. Well, Momo has created a giant railgun, and Kaminari is using his own electricity to power it, with Momo going,
Ready!
Yay! And Kaminari, once again, overuses his powers and sends a massive blast towards All For One, with him going, Insolent little. Leave them alone! And before anything can happen, as he's sending these tendrils forward, many people get in the way of Midoriya, and what it looks like is like Midoriya is trying to gear up and punch All For One, but all of his friends, all of his fellow students, everyone jumps up in front of him to take on the attack themselves. Instead of it, because Midoriya still feels like he's got to be the one to do it, but everyone is lending their hand with Midoriya. Lending a hand with Midoriya in order to not only protect him, but make sure he actually gets to All For One. And then we have Ojiro going, You're already on your last legs. Save your strength. Then we got Sato. Cause only your strength can suck it to him, so let us tank these hits. And then we have someone latching onto Midoriya going, Go on! And it's Shoji and Tsuyu. And they latched onto him and they're pulling him forward. And then it shows all the civilians watching all of this going down, including kids, including Sue's family.
Mommy, Daddy, look! It's Sis! You see her? Suyu.
Not Suru, but
Suyu. Do your best, Suyu!
And then it cuts to that very same girl that Shoji protected way back when. She sees Shoji going,
Shoji, you can do it, Shoji!
Then it cuts to Shoji going, The rest of us aren't agile enough to weave past these brutal attacks.
But we can still carry you part way there.
And as that's going, they launch Midoriya. As he goes, Thanks, Shoji! You too, Tsuyu! And as he lands, it seems like a giant tendril is preparing to hit Midoriya, but it gets stopped by Kirishima, Mina, and A. Show some guts! That's A.
And Mina!
You've got this, dude!
Get it done!
And then Midoriya just closes his eyes and yells, I will! And then it cuts to All For One, who's just thinking to himself as he's, ripping the world apart, going, Why? All I see are carcasses, soon to be carrion. Why do they refuse to lie down and die? There's little life to their weary movements, yet their eyes, if nothing else, as it shows Jiro and Present Mike, and it shows Mineta, who's been knocked down, but he's still refusing to stay down. And then All For One is just thinking all the way back. Because, apparently since he meshed with Shigaraki, he was also able to get the memories of the vestiges of One For All as well. As he thinks back to Nana Shimura going,
He finds himself helplessly watching. Conferring this power to someone so worthless was a this
is All For One going, Conferring this power to someone so worthless was a mistake. And that's when All For One's eyes open wide as he goes, Right, Midoriya. Izuku Midoriya. Midoriya, it's your weakness. As he tries to hit Midoriya, but he dodges out of the way. And then we have Gentle, as he goes, Do your utmost, boy. And then we have Death Arms, as he's yelling towards Midoriya, You can do this! It was something All Might lacked. As it shows Tokoyami, as he's weakly saying, do your best. A weak, feeble strength that spurs these vermin. Oh wait, this is still All for One. It was something All Might lacked. A weak, feeble strength that spurs these vermin to stand back up so doggedly. That will not perish so long as you keep moving forward. And then and it shows, who is this? Who is this holding on to Midoriya, keeping him from falling over? It's someone else. It's someone. As All for One starts to put his hand forward as he goes, that will not perish so long as you keep moving forward. And then, all of a sudden, he notices something in the distance. And then we get someone going, I thought our ejector seats were disabled, but here we are. I take it that was your doing, All Might. And it shows the same pilots who once, served with Star and Stripe. They're there tending to All Might right now. Those kids are hoping for absolute victory, so I'd rather keep our losses to a minimum. Coming from you, that's rich. And then All Might is looking at his arm. Midoriya, kid, that day when you dove into the fray, my body took action as well. Yes, ever since that day. And we get everyone crying out, saying, do your best! You can do it, man! And these are two characters that were from two different My Hero Academia movies, so they've been completely and fully canonized if they haven't appeared anywhere else. But the dude, the lady from the, Strongest Superhero Mission, and I think the other guy from the most recent My Hero Academia movie, complete with this little bird on his shoulder. But we got the pilot going, do you recall our first... Wait, who is saying this? Oh, snap! It's Ida! I'm sorry! I didn't even recognize him! That's Ida! I didn't even recognize Ida's face! I didn't recognize his face! Hold on. Why does it feel like there's heat coming in my room? No, that's not heat. It might just be the lamp and me getting irate. I need to hurry. I still got to do jujutsu and still be ready in order to leave out. But Ida's the one who says, do you recall our first day as we left school? And it cuts back to when Midoriya was walking through UA's gates for the first time when he first met Ida and Uraraka. Then we have a helicopter going overhead. In this moment, I understand so clearly what she meant.
Hang in there. Almost at the hospital, Uraraka.
And I believe that is Pixie Bob, taking care of Uraraka as she's being flown to the hospital.
You can do it. Everyone's doing their best down there. But Deku, well, it just screams, do your best. I kind of like it.
And then Uraraka weakly says,
do your best.
And then it cuts to Midoriya, who just stomps into the ground. As he gets prepared to go forward. Then we have the President of the United States going, send every hero we've got over to Japan, pronto. But, Mr. President, if All for One wins today, you would be putting our nation's security in jeopardy. Like I give a darn, just do it! And then, wow, this is so serious that the President of the United States is going to send all of his heroes over to Japan to help fight All for One right now. And then Midoriya, and then we have Shoto's face screaming, and we have Midoriya going, I hear them all calling to me. Tsukauchi, you can do it.
Do your best.
Get it done.
Do it, man. You can do it.
And that's Koda. Do your best. You've got this. I know you can. And that's Gran Torino. Then Eri.
Do your best, okay?
You can do it. You got this. And then it cuts to, who is that? Who is that person going,
do your best.
As Midoriya is flying in the air, and we have All Might still raising his fist as he goes, You've been my best hero. And then we have Midoriya's mom running up going,
Do your best, Izuku!
Chapter 242, Izuku Midoriya Rising. And Midoriya just completely runs into the air and just starts, and it looks like he just starts destroying one of all. Oh no. No, I get to see now. I see it. Yo, Midoriya blitzed all for one and lands a solid punch to his chest. While it was weird for me at first, but while it looks like he's surrounded by all this black, he breaks through it with the only other different color other than black and gray being him punching All For One directly in his chest. And you can see blood flying out from All For One's mouth, even though he has a hand covering his face. You see this punch cause blood to just fly out of his mouth. Chapter 422, Izuku Midoriya Rising. This was an amazing chapter. Are the sound effects Shigaraki screams coming back into those All For One panels? Hold on, let me see. Andrew Parkinson. Also, good to see you, Fallen Master. Arlanda Zuri, good to see you as well. Welcome if this is your first time here. This was a 11 out of 10 chapter. This was phenomenal. Everyone refusing to stay down just because All For One wants them to die. I'm looking at All For One scenes, and I'm not seeing any extra sound effects being done around him. Because we get like these Kree sounds, and that's just the sound of him contorting his body to use more quirks. And while he's talking, I still don't see any sound effects of screaming, because the significant thing about Shigaraki screaming coming through his words was it was actually inside the same speech bubble as All For One when he was speaking. And that's the reason why he put the hand over his mouth, and now you don't hear those extra screaming inside the speech bubble. So I can't say that it's Shigaraki. Oh, wait. I think I know what you mean. No, pages 8 and 9. I think I know what you mean. Oh, I see. I think I know what you mean. I see it. Never mind. I see what you mean. Right here where he's saying, why? All I see are carcasses, soon to be carrion. Why do they refuse to lie down and die? And there's just this sound of... I can't tell if that's Shigaraki or not. It might be. It might be. You may be right. It might be. But yes, this whole chapter was incredible. The One Piece chapter was incredible. This chapter was incredible. I can't stay too long on this one because I got to do Jujutsu and then prepare to go out to eat with my family. But this is Midoriya's Izuku Rising chapter. Despite everything that All For One has done across the entire series, right here, where everyone is standing against them, there isn't a single person there with the slightest hint of hesitation, nor the slightest thought of, we are going to lose. They are all fighting for their lives. They are all fighting to ensure that Midoriya can get close to him. Things that look like they're about to injure him, people are coming in to save Midoriya, stand in the way, tank hits, move things out of the way in order to make sure that Midoriya has an absolutely clear path to move forward. And the last person to give Midoriya that extra boost was literally one of the first two people he met when he started UA. And it was Ida who gave him that little extra push, pulling him along with his jet engines and then proceeds to push him forward. And then Midoriya uses full cowling and launches high into the air. Everyone screaming for Midoriya that you can do it. The president of the United States of America saying, like, send every hero we got over to Japan pronto. Because this man knows that if the heroes of Japan are fighting this hard to beat All For One, then what are we doing? Send everyone there now. Despite his Secretary of State, I'm guessing this is his Secretary of State, going, "But Mr. President, if All for One wins today, you would be putting our nation's security in jeopardy." And the president was all like, "I don't care. Do it. Send them over there. Whoever you can." So now it just makes me wonder, if Star and Stripes was the #1 superhero in the entirety of America, who's the second and third all the way down? Makes you wonder. But Midoriya launches into the air with the final push. The final person screaming for him to do his best is his own mom. What are the odds that the last person to say you can do it would be a supporting mother on Mother's Day? What are the odds? What are the odds that this chapter would drop today, and specifically be the one where we see his mom telling him to do his best, like a supportive mother? Happy Mother's Day to you, Mrs. Midoriya. Wait, Mrs. What is her name? I forgot her name. I'm sorry. What is her name? Inko. Yeah, Inko Midoriya. What are the odds that she would be the face that we last see on Mother's Day? Chapter had me tearing up a bit. Look, I can understand completely. It's very subtle compared to before, so it's hard to tell for sure. Exactly. I see what you mean, Andrew. Let's see. I still want him to take All for One down on his own. I think I like this chapter a little more. Oh, I completely understand. Both chapters were great, but this is the major push that everyone has been working towards. In the entrance exam, Aoyama and Ida left him behind, but now they push him forward. This is everything I love about MHA condensed into one chapter. So many good callbacks. Because the thing I love about My Hero Academia, and this is the end of the chapter, this is me giving my whole thoughts on it, is the thing I love about My Hero Academia is simply because the world building and character development of every named character in this entire series is significant. There isn't a single character where it's just like, they're just plopped in for plot convenience and they don't move the story along. Because you get a lot of stories that introduce characters, but they don't help propel the story. Sorry, I almost bit my tongue there. They don't help propel the story at all. Yet, here we are with such a phenomenal example of writing, where moments that you can remember from the beginning are called back here, but it's done so in a... Horikoshi, like Oda, really knows how to do callbacks. Now, Oda, his can go back as far as like several years as far as callbacks are concerned, and you'll really have to remember it. But when it comes to Horikoshi, a lot of stuff that's happened with My Hero Academia are still relatively fresh, since this is a series that is basically only like 400 and something chapters. But the world building, the character development, and how everything ties together in such a meaningful way is why My Hero Academia is one of the best series out at the moment. And I say at the moment because let's face it, we're winding down this series. This is the last major threat we have to face. So when My Hero is done, I mean, it's over. That same void we had when we were reading Attack on Titan, we're about to be set with that with My Hero when it's over. But what I really love about Horikoshi's writing is that everyone is given a chance to shine. And in this chapter, everyone was given a chance to shine. Everyone showed up in the last chapter, they were given that moment, and everyone showed up in this one, they were given that moment. It really was, everything that Horikoshi does as far as character development is well done. I know people in the past have said that, he added in this character and didn't make much sense. Saw people complain about Star and Stripe, how are you going to introduce her and then kill her right off not too long after? And I'm like, just let the man cook. And Horikoshi has been cooking he's been cooking for a very long time with this series, especially with this final battle arc that we're currently going through. So My Hero Academia is by far one of my most favorite series that I ever had the blessing, the honor to not only read, but also read for all of you. We get to talk about it and just how great a story this is. It's not over yet. We're still going. And if I go back to the chapter list, We're not going on break. One Piece is on break, but My Hero is not. So, yeah. It's amazing. It truly is amazing just how far the story has come, how far the characters have come, their thought process at the beginning of the series versus their thought process now after a long time of them growing as characters. That's what Horikoshi really does well. He lets his characters grow. They don't stay stagnant. They don't stay the same way always. They grow. They develop. They improve. And with such good writing for these characters, you grow with these characters. Because we've been with My Hero for a long time. We've been with My Hero for several years. It's been a while. But we got to see these characters grow chapter by chapter. Development chapter by chapter. That didn't feel rushed at all. That's what I love about Horikoshi. But, ladies and gentlemen, all I can say is that this was I wouldn't even call it 11 out of 10 chapter. This was a 12 out of 10 chapter, simply because today is the 12th and today is Mother's Day. It is a 12 out of 10 chapter. Horikoshi really did show, I dare say this is one of the best chapters that Horikoshi has written for My Hero. One of the best. There are a lot of them, but this has got to be the top, amongst the top 5 for me. Horikoshi has been in his element for the conclusion to this story. So many moments that you can tell he's been planning for years, paying off so much build up in the best ways. And he's such an effective writer. And I know it seems like I'm praising Horikoshi a lot, but I, as a person who has gone the extra mile to think, not just on a reader's level, but also on a writer's level as to how these characters are written, how they're portrayed, and how the story goes. And this is a type of story where I can deep dive mentally, psychologically, a lot of the things that Horikoshi does for his characters. I could talk easily about Midoriya, who he is as a character, and how he affects the people around him, all on its own. And you can do that for literally any other character. You can do that for Bakugo. You can do that for Shoto. You can do that for All Might, Endeavor. You can do that for Ida. You can do that for Uraraka. You can do this for basically any other character in this entire series. Their history, their mannerisms, how they feel as a characters, their impact on the world in the story that they're in. This is the type of story where you could spend a lot of time just doing research on it, because it's that interesting and it's that well done. But I leave you with this. Horikoshi is one of the best mangakas I have ever had the honor of reading a story from. I know I always say this all the time, but he's really phenomenal. And this chapter is by far one of the best chapters of My Hero that I've ever read. One of the best chapters. But ladies and gentlemen, I must bid you adieu. I gotta do Jujutsu Kaisen, talk about that, and then proceed to go out to eat with my family for Mother's Day. So you've been a wonderful audience. Sorry if I have to cut this short, but I'm pressed for time. It is an honor and a privilege to be your entertainer, Andrew, Halster, Michael, Fallen Master, Orlando Zuri, every single person that showed up today. All I can say to you is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples.